What's going on, traders? Emmanuel right here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Forex economic calendar. This is going to be a detailed step-by-step guide. Regardless of if you're a beginner or a professional trader, you're going to be taking useful insight on how the Forex economic calendar is going to be resourceful to us as traders. This is a resource that will help us be able to position ourselves nicely ahead of any trading day, or to see the lineup for that particular trading week. It's very important we know what's coming up, what to expect, how to position ourselves nicely, or to simply avoid the market when there is so much uncertainty or when there's no clear sense of what to expect in the market. If you are new to the YouTube channel, please take a time to subscribe, hit that notification button so that you'll be on the loop of updates. This video will be broken down into two major segments. The big part is where I'm going to talk on chart works and how to correlate what we're going to be talking about in this particular video. So stay tuned, make sure you turn on the notification so that you'll be notified once I drop the B part. Now let's get right into the video. Alright, so the video will be broken down into three segments. The first segment is where we touch on the use case of how the Forex economic calendar is going to be of importance to us. The second category is where I break down, how to calibrate your Forex economic calendar and explain, the certain categories of how this news is being filtered and how you can understand information there. And the third category is going to be my take, how I want to possibly approach this news release. So stick to the end of the video. So starting off with what we have here, the Forex economic calendar. Obviously the first thing here is we're going to be using this to identify significant news event that could create high volatility within the market, or significant volatility. Now we want to know when we're going to have that insane price volatility or movement in the market. It's very, very important, and we want to take advantage of it. Now the second also is the part where we're going to be filtering this resource center to give us the significant information that we need. There are lots of information there, but however not all of them are going to be useful to us. And the third is how I'm going to approach the market as well. So moving on from this here, we're going to head over to Forex Factory, and this is the resource center or the economic calendar where we have all of these laid out, and we want to calibrate. So now this is forexfactory.com. So you want to head over to this and follow up with the steps and basically understand the information that you're going to get here. So you want to calibrate this to your time zone, very important. After that, you want to head over to filter. What we want to do is we want to get news feeds that are relevant, like we've explained earlier on. So if you click on this filter icon, it's going to give you a breakdown of the news categories, the red folder, this the orange, and this. So basically what I want to do is I want to uncheck this. This is not what I want to focus on. The other ones are what are important to me. Then we have categories of asset class. This categories of asset class has to do with the currencies you are interested in. For me, I want to see all of this. Then next up we have the news types as well. So you want to check this, you want to check all of it, are very important as well. So once you've done this, now let's debunk and understand the information this carries. So moving on from here, what I want to do next is understand what does the high impact news say. Now for the high impact news, this is the one that is having the most significant mover in the market. It's the news category that is going to significantly impact the market once it drops. Then we have the medium impact news. Now the medium impact news has to do with a 50-50 kind of outcome. Depending on the outcome, it might not turn out to be a mover. So if it doesn't turn out to be a mover, the orange folder will probably turn out to be like a yellow folder. But if it turns out to be a significant one, it will come out as a red folder. So this one we also want to pay close attention to this category. Now, next up we have is the low impact news. Now, this is like your regular kind of news in the forex space, and they don't really do much. They don't really have any significance in the market, and of course, this is not where we want to pay attention to. Then next up is the gray folder. Now, this is also important because as a trader, you don't want to be caught up in a market that is not liquid, or a position where you take and you be charged commissions on spreads and all of those, and you're caught up in between those nasty market conditions. Basically, once any economic sector is in holiday, you want to avoid the market for that day, or avoid that certain class that is connected to this. So moving on from this, now what we want to do next is we want to take a look at the high impact news alongside the medium impact news and proceed from there. Alright guys, so for the high impact news, this is the number one mover here. Non-farm payroll, um very popular news release, and is the most, look out for news every single trader out there is looking out for. Now the non-farm payroll has to do with the announcement around figures for employment change in the United States of America. This is where, once it's announced, the market is going to greatly move. It's going to have insane volatility around that period, and basically, as a trader, you need to know when this is coming out. It's usually on the first Friday of every month, and as a trader, if you don't really understand how to navigate your way around it, you simply just be on the sidelines. And by the way, I'm going to be linking my Telegram community on the video description. Be part of it and see how we approach non-farm payroll. Next up, we have CPI. That's the Consumer Price Index, also a very important news mover in the market. The CPI is basically announcement around inflation. Is inflation within an economy rising, falling, or are they trying to maintain inflation around a certain level? It's very important and key. And next up is the Federal Open Market Committee press conference, also known as FOMC, also a very important news category. Now these are like the ones on under the high impact news as well. Very important. You don't want to miss any of these within your trading journey. Now the next up we want to look at is the medium impact news. Now for the medium impact news, we have producer price index, core PCE, and federal open market committee minutes. Now these are those ones that could be like a 50-50, and of course you want to be on the lookout for all of these news events. Now there is a subcategory of the way I want to look at this news release. There are those that are tied with numbers or data, and there are those that are basically press conference. So I'm going to touch on how I want to approach both of them. So moving on from this, this is like a snapshot of what to expect. As you can see here, this is bank holiday for the Canadian economy and the United States economy. Of course, during bank holiday, the market is illiquid, and basically you want to stay off the market. Now, looking at other reports that I've just explained that has to do with press conference, you can see here there is no numbers to this, there's no data to this, unlike these other categories where you have PMI, you have relatable numbers or figures to it that you can pay close attention to and position yourself on how to approach this. Now next up, you can see that on a Friday here, we'll be expecting the high impact news for the unemployment change we've just talked about and the unemployment rates. Now, there is a subcategory of the employment figures. There is the unemployment claims that usually comes out. I think it's 2 weeks periodically within the forex space. You always have this information, Forex Factory, and you have the non-farm payroll, which is basically once every Friday, every month. That's the first Friday of the month. So basically, you want to take out your time and filter out all of this information to give you what you need, which is the significant news feed we've talked about earlier on. So on to the last section of this video. Now I want to take a look at actionable steps, how I want to approach this, news events within the forex space here. And on the B part, we're going to talk about, relatable terms of how this correlates to the chart and how to go about it. Now, first things first, this is what I want to do. if there's no quality trade setup around, this high impact news, I want to clearly stay off the market. I don't want to be caught up in a market condition where I don't really have a clear sense of direction of where the market wants to go to, or I'm not so confident about the position I want to take. So I want to be off totally when it comes to this. Now, the next important thing I want to take a look at is I want to avoid trades around a day before the high impact news. For a good example, NFP. On a Thursday before NFP, I want to avoid the market because the market is going to be greatly influenced with the news release that is about to happen, and you don't want to be caught up in the market that has so much uncertainty, and there is no clear sense of what the market wants to do basically. Now, the next here is I want to avoid trading a session prior to the high impact. It's very important. Now, this is where most traders get it wrong. So, if the NFP release is coming at 1:30 p.m. GMT plus one, I want to avoid London markets totally because there are lots of things that could happen in London market. One of the most common of it is the London session might be so quiet and illiquid, and the market will simply be waiting for New York session, and that's where you have the most of the activity or the volatility, centered around. So I want to avoid the market trading sessions before the high impact news I'm looking to trade. There are many other possibilities or scenarios of what could happen. I don't want to be caught up in the middle of all of those. I want to simply avoid the market. Then the last important thing on my list here is I want to avoid trying to execute trades right on the release. Now I want to possibly take my trade positions few minutes before the release or few minutes afterwards when I know that the market is much settled for me to be able to get my entry. There's issues of slippage, spreads widening, and many random things that you don't be caught up in trying to execute right on the spot of the release. Your orders might not be filled, and of course, you don't want to be caught up in any of those nasty market conditions. Not alone when the market whipsaws or you're taking a buy, you're taking a sell, all of those stuff. You want to avoid them totally. So, guys, these are my takes on high impact news, economic calendar. I've given you guys the three major categories of how I want to approach the market. On the B section, stick around to find out how I want to apply this to trading, and also click on the video on your screen. That is a video that's going to link you up to other high impact news related videos I've talked about, and you want to watch them and learn a few things from it. If you find this video helpful and you've learned something, do well to drop us a comment. Let us know in the comment section your take on this. Hit the like button, share to your friends, let them know about economic calendar, let them do better here on with their trading. Until next time, guys, I will see you guys. Cheers. Keep it simple.